I want to talk to you today about the importance of self acceptance. Of the many self concepts that are provided, self acceptance is one that is rarely discussed. Many people talk about self esteem, many people talk about self confidence, but not many people share with us or share with you the importance of self acceptance. Self acceptance is your ability to accept yourself for who you are rather than for who you wish you were or for who other people tell you you are. One definition says self acceptance is an individual's acceptance of his or herself, her attributes, positive or negative. That means you accept yourself, you accept the positive parts of yourself or the negative parts of yourself and the negative parts of yourself. Now, self acceptance does not mean you have to like everything about yourself, but you need to accept who you are if you're going to live a happy and comfortable life and if you're going to explore your life's journey in peace. The AA and NA groups normally start with the Serenity Prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, wisdom to know the difference. And when we look at the word serenity, that word means calm, peace, untroubled. So we're asking God, grant me the peace that I need to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So you want to be peaceful in this acceptance. Why? Because accepting yourself, flaws and all, is not easy. It's not easy, but it's necessary. True self acceptance is embracing who you are without any qualifications, conditions, or exceptions. And that's from Seltzer. So you don't want to just have self acceptance, but you want to have true self acceptance. That means you accept yourself unconditionally. Unconditionally. It's not easy to accept the things that we desperately want to change about ourselves, but it's only by truly accepting ourselves that we can even begin the process of self improvement, because we can accept ourselves the way we are, but there are some things about ourselves that we can improve. Like if you have low self esteem, you can work on that. If you have low self confidence, you can work on that. If you don't know how to love yourself, you can work on self love. So, truly accepting yourself for who you are helps with the process of self improvement. In other words, we must first acknowledge that we have some undesirable traits and habits before we start on our journey of self improvement. So you got to be aware, and then you have to accept the things that you cannot change while you're working toward the things that you have the ability to change, the ability to improve. According to a therapist, Russell Grieger, unconditional self acceptance is understanding that you are separate from your actions and your qualities. You are separate from your actions and your qualities. You are also separate from your physical makeup. I'm going to have a transparent moment here. But I remember growing up, there were two things about my physical makeup that had me in bondage. I am knock-kneed and I have flat feet. And for a long time, I allowed those things to define me. I allowed those things to become a part of who I am. But it was only until I went on my journey of self-discovery that I realized that what I look like on the outside does not define who I am on the inside. So based on Russell Grieger's a therapist, he says unconditional self-acceptance is understanding that you are separate. You are separate from your actions and your qualities. That means you accept that you have made mistakes and that you have flaws, but you do not let them define you. So self-acceptance means you accept that you're not perfect, because nobody's perfect. And here's a nugget for you. You're not ever going to be perfect. You're not ever going to be perfect. But you do strive for perfection. So self-acceptance means you just accept you for who you are. And when you practice unconditional self-acceptance, and you begin to love yourself, you embrace your authentic self, and you work on improving your less than desirable qualities and traits. So you don't just have self-acceptance, you also have true self-acceptance, and then you have unconditional self-acceptance. You have to accept yourself unconditionally. So real brief, I'm going to give you three ways that you can begin to accept the things you cannot change. Because there are some things that we cannot change. And the first thing is to recognize what can't be changed. There are some things about you, there are some things about your life that cannot be changed. And some of the immediate things that cannot be changed are your past. You cannot change your past. The Bible says, old things have passed away, and behold, all things are new. So you cannot change your past. Then you cannot change other people. You cannot change other people. This includes your children. If you're a parent and you have children, you can't change your children. You can pour into them. You can offer them advice. You can give them suggestions. You can give them tools. But you cannot change your children. You cannot change other people. Husbands, you can't change your wives. Wives, you can't change your husband. You can't change other people. And you can't change the laws of nature. So, when we go through, tornadoes and storms, and we have different things that cause huge disruptions in our life. You may lose a home to a tornado or fire. We can't change those things. We have to grow through those things, right? Death. We can't change death. We can't change the death of a loved one or the death of a friend. We can't change those things. So we have to ask God to grant us serenity to accept those things that we cannot change. And the next thing that we have to do is grieve what can't be changed. Don't just say, okay, I can't change it, so I'm just going to move on. You cannot just move from it. You can't move past it. Because you don't have to just accept it without trying to process it, right? So you allow yourself to grieve the things that you cannot change. Because when you try to just put them in the back of your mind and forget about them, that causes anxiety. It causes stress. It causes depression because they're not going to go away. You know that they're there. So you may as well grieve. Grieve those things. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel what you're going through. Allow yourself to feel it. Then allow yourself to process it. Go through the process because healing is a process. You can't go and have surgery on your back or surgery on your leg or whatever and then say, okay, I had surgery, now move. No, you have to feel some pain. You have to process this new beginning, and then you have to heal from it. So grieve the things you can't change. If you have a devastating tragedy and something happens to your home or your apartment or where you're living, that's a trauma. That's a tragic situation. You can't just put that in the back of your mind. You have to grieve that. You have to grieve. You have to feel what you're feeling. Process it, then you let it go. And here's the deal. Just because you let it go does not mean it's not there, but it's no longer on the inside. You let it out, because when you let it out, then it's not hounding you. And the grieving process is different for everybody. So you need to take as much time as you need to grieve. Take as much time as you need to grieve, but grieve the things that you cannot change. Don't expect to just put them in the back of your mind and then forget about them, because that does not work. And then you need to take advantage of the things that you can change. And one of the main things that you can change is the direction that your life is going. If you're not happy with the way your life is going, if you're not happy with the things that's going on in your life, then you have the ability to change direction. You have the ability to make some different decisions and take some different actions, right? Make some new decisions, make some hard decisions. You may have to make a hard decision today when you say, okay, it's time for me to accept who I am. But make some hard decisions, but then you got to take action. You got to take action. You just can't make the decisions to make changes, but then you don't do anything. So you have to take action, and you have control of these things. So take advantage of the things that you can change. The first two steps in my dance concepts are decision. You have to make a decision, and then you have to take action. You can take control of those things. And then you nurture, you commit, and you explore. So you have the ability to change some things about your life. But it goes back to the Serenity Prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Go and explore. Become aware of who you are and accept yourself for who you are. Then recognize what can't be changed. Grieve what can't be changed. Then take advantage of the things you can change.